You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Traditional pen testing is resource-intensive, slow, and expensive, providing only a point-in-time snapshot of your application's security, leaving it vulnerable between development cycles. Automated scanners alone are unreliable in detecting faults within application logic and critical vulnerabilities. Outpost 24's continuous pen testing as a service solution offers year-round protection, with recurring manual penetration testing conducted by CREST-certified pen testers, allowing you to stay ahead of threats and ensure your web applications are always secure. A massive power outage strikes the Iberian Peninsula. Iran says it repelled a widespread and complex cyber attack targeting national infrastructure. Researchers find hundreds of SAP NetWeaver systems vulnerable to a critical zero-day. A British retailer tells warehouse workers to stay home following a cyber attack. VeriSource Services discloses a breach exposing personal data of 4 million individuals. Global automated scanning surged 16% in 2024. CISA discloses several critical vulnerabilities affecting Planet Technologies' industrial switches and network management products. A Greek court upholds a VPN provider's no logs policy. Law enforcement dismantles the JokerOTP phishing tool. Our guest is Tim Starks from CyberScoop, with developments in the NSO Group trial and how bad scans and AI spread a scientific urban legend. It's Monday, April 28th, 2025. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. We are coming to you live and on location from RSAC 2025 right here in beautiful San Francisco. The Moscone Center is buzzing with the latest in cybersecurity innovation, critical discussions, and, of course, a few caffeine-fueled debates about AI, quantum threats, and how to finally get rid of passwords for good. We've got a packed week ahead with interviews from industry leaders, quick takes on major announcements, and a look at the trends shaping the future of cyber defense. So whether you're joining us from the show floor or tuning in from afar, stick around. You don't want to miss what's coming up this week. Let's dive in. A massive power outage struck the Iberian Peninsula today, cutting electricity across Spain, Portugal, and parts of southern France and Andorra. The blackout, which began around 12:30 p.m. local time, caused Spain's power demand to collapse by half within moments, a total grid failure. Sources suggest a cyber attack is the likely cause, though authorities have not confirmed this. Critical infrastructure was severely impacted, including airports, metros, telecommunications, and traffic systems. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited Red Electrica's control center as emergency restoration efforts began, focusing on hydroelectric power while gas and nuclear power remained offline. Internet traffic dropped by nearly 37% across the region. The Spanish Cybersecurity Coordination Office is investigating, but officials warn it's too early to draw conclusions. This outage highlights growing concerns as cyber attacks on utilities have more than doubled globally in recent years. Recovery is expected to take time. Meanwhile, Iran says it repelled a widespread and complex cyber attack targeting national infrastructure, according to Behzad Akbari of the government's telecommunication infrastructure company. Few details were shared, and there's no confirmed link to a deadly explosion at Rashid Rajeh port the previous day, which killed 28 and injured 800. Maritime experts attribute the explosion to mishandled ballistic missile fuel, though Iran denies this. The incident comes amid tense nuclear negotiations between Iran and the U.S. Iran has faced several major cyber attacks in recent years, including ones on its fuel system and steel mills, often blamed on U.S. and Israeli forces without evidence. Groups like Predatory Sparrow have claimed past attacks, raising suspicions of state backing due to the precision involved. Iran's officials continue to cite cyber threats as key national security concerns. Shadow servers found 454 SAP NetWeaver systems vulnerable to a critical zero-day flaw allowing unauthenticated file uploads and full system compromise. Discovered by ReliaQuest in April, the bug targets the metadata uploader component and has already been weaponized in the wild. Attackers upload web shells via a missing authorization check. SAP issued an emergency patch on April 24th. Organizations are urged to patch immediately or apply temporary passwords, as the flaw poses a severe risk to exposed SAP environments. British retailer Marks & Spencer has told around 200 agency workers not to report to its main warehouses as it manages a growing cyberattack crisis. Online shopping remains paused, with M&S apologizing for the disruption but assuring customers that stores are still open. The incident, first disclosed last week, has already led to an 8% drop in M&S shares. The company says its internal team and external cyber experts are working urgently to restore online and app services. VeriSource Services disclosed that a 2024 breach exposed personal data of 4 million individuals tied to companies using its employee benefits platform. Stolen data includes names, birth dates, addresses, and social security numbers. Although discovered quickly, full impact analysis took over a year, with final notifications issued this month. No misuse has been reported yet, but VeriSource is offering free credit monitoring. Security experts stress the prolonged exposure window raises heightened risks of identity fraud and theft. Global automated scanning surged 16.7% in 2024, exposing major digital vulnerabilities, according to FortiGuard Labs' 2025 Global Threat Landscape Report. The threat actors now execute 36,000 scans per second, targeting services like SIP, RDP, and IoT protocols. Cybercrime marketplaces added 40,000 new vulnerabilities and drove a 500% rise in InfoStealer malware logs, contributing to 1.7 billion stolen credentials. Critical sectors like manufacturing and business services are increasingly targeted, with the U.S. absorbing 61% of attacks. AI-driven threats such as fraud GPT are intensifying phishing and credential stuffing campaigns. Fortinet urges organizations to shift to intelligence-led defense strategies, emphasizing attack surface management, real-world adversary simulation, and dark web monitoring. Experts stress that real-time AI-powered security solutions are crucial to countering today's evolving cyber threats and preventing operational disruptions. Several critical vulnerabilities affecting Planet Technologies' industrial switches and network management products have been disclosed by CISA. The flaws allow remote unauthenticated attackers to gain admin access, create accounts, and execute OS commands. Researcher Kevin Breen, who reported the issues, noted hundreds to thousands of exposed devices globally, including in critical manufacturing. Planet Technology patched the vulnerabilities this month, and no active exploitation has been reported so far. Windscribe, a privacy-focused VPN and cybersecurity provider, has scored a major legal victory as founder Igor Sak was acquitted by a Greek court. The case, triggered by the cyber incident involving a Windscribe server, could have set a dangerous global precedent by criminalizing infrastructure ownership. Thanks to Windscribe's strict no-logs policy, the court found no evidence linking Mr. Sak or the company to any wrongdoing. The ruling reaffirms that privacy providers cannot be held responsible for user actions when no data is collected. Windscribe, founded in 2016, remains a fierce defender of online freedom, vowing to resist any pressure to compromise user trust. Mr. Sack called the case a critical stand against government overreach, warning, "Today it's hacking, tomorrow it could be criticizing a dictator." 2 men have been arrested in the UK and the Netherlands as part of a major international operation dismantling JokerOTP, a phishing tool used to steal over £7.5 million. The tool tricked victims into revealing two-factor authentication codes by impersonating trusted institutions like banks and cryptocurrency platforms. JokerOTP was deployed in over 28,000 phishing attacks across 13 countries. The investigation, led by Cleveland Police's Cybercrime Unit and supported by Europol and the Dutch National Police, marks one of the UK's largest cyber fraud cases. The suspects, operating online as Spit and Dephone123, face charges including fraud, unauthorized access, money laundering, and blackmail. Authorities have begun shutting down the infrastructure supporting JokerOTP, warning users of the platform that further law enforcement actions are underway. Coming up after the break, Tim Starks from CyberScoop shares developments in the NSO Group trial and how bad scans and AI spread a scientific urban legend. Stay with us. Let's be real. Navigating security compliance can feel like assembling IKEA furniture without the instructions. You know you need it, but it takes forever and you're never quite sure if you've done it right. That's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is a trust management platform that automates up to 90% of the work for frameworks like SOC 2, ISO 27001, and HIPAA, getting you audit-ready in weeks, not months. Whether you're a founder, an engineer, or managing IT and security for the first time, Vanta helps you prove your security posture without taking over your life. More than 10,000 companies, including names like Atlassian and Quora, trust Vanta to monitor compliance, streamline risk, and speed up security reviews by up to 5 times. And the ROI? A recent IDC report found Vanta saves businesses over $500,000 a year and pays for itself in just 3 months. For a limited time, you can get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber. Secure access is crucial for U.S. public sector missions, ensuring that only authorized users can access certain systems, networks, or data. Are your defenses ready? Cisco's Security Service Edge delivers comprehensive protection for your network and users. Experience the power of zero trust and secure your workforce wherever they are. Elevate your security strategy by visiting cisco.com/go.sse. That's cisco.com/go/sse. It is always my pleasure to welcome back to the show Tim Starks, senior reporter at CyberScoop. Tim, welcome back.
It's always my pleasure to be back.
Well, Tim, you recently had an article over on CyberScoop about the WhatsApp versus NSO Group case. Some of the legal ramblings that are going on there, wranglings, I should say. That's paging Dr. Freud. Wranglings, I should say. Bring us up to date here. Well, I guess before we dig in, just to briefly explain what the lawsuit between WhatsApp and NSO Group is all about.
Yeah, there's a couple different cases that are happening. Well, there's more than a couple, but there are a couple particularly big ones that have had some happenings of late. One of them, and I think the biggest of them, the biggest of all the lawsuits really against NSO Group or any spyware maker for that matter, is WhatsApp versus NSO Group. And WhatsApp alleged in a hearing, that a case that began several years ago, that NSO Group is guilty for spying on something like 1,400 of its users. NSO Group is saying that's illegal under the CFAA, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and some other reasons, privacy invasive. NSO Group says essentially, we're not the people who hack anyone. We're just the people who make the technology that hacks people. And there's the rub. So that's what the case is about. There was a hearing, or rather, I should say, an order that was handed down this week that was important to how things were going to proceed. So a judge said, we find NSO to be guilty of this behavior. So now they're in the damages phase, deciding how much anybody's going to get out of this. And so a ruling came down this week on what kind of evidence could be happening, what each side could enter when making their case. That's what the ruling was this most recent week.
Well, what is significant that NSO can no longer bring up? What are they restricted?
It's fairly penalizing. If just by my read, they can't talk about who their clients are. They can't talk about the professions or identities of the alleged victims, and those are pretty big. One of the people I talked to for the story said this kind of goes to the strategy of the basic fundamental strategy of what NSO Group was going to try to argue, which is, hey, we're representing governments that are doing things to crack down on terrorists and criminals, and this really limits what they can argue on that front. There are some other limitations as well on the other side, but they're not as strict. And there were some restrictions that I didn't touch on in the story that go to both the plaintiff and the defendant in this case, saying essentially, we're leaving reputational harm out of this entirely. We're just not going to get into it on both sides. So it's a really fascinating ruling. As someone who's been following the legal ramifications, the legal battles over spyware, it was a really fascinating ruling saying, hey, NSO Group, you're going to try to say we're the good guys. We're not going to let you really say that. And one of the things that was interesting about the ruling is that the judge was really skeptical of NSO Group's argument. They're saying, hey, look, we're the good guys. We're helping these people catch terrorists, but we can't actually say who the people we work for are. But also, we're the good guys. There's kind of this sort of circular argument that made it so that the judge said, look, you're just not going to be able to do any of that. Like, you can't be saying, oh, we represent the good guys, but not say who the good guys are. And you can't say, oh, we don't know what they're doing, but we also know that they're doing good things. It was kind of a circular argument that the judge was like, nope, you're not going to be able to do this.
So does this shift the focus of the trial towards NSO Group's conduct rather than their clients' conduct?
Yeah, big time. I mean, one of the big issues involved in this case was how guilty is NSO Group for the behavior of the people who use this technology, and this really makes it harder for them to say, we're hands off. We're not. This isn't anything to do. We license, but the judge is basically putting them in a position of saying, look, you are responsible. So now it's just coming down to how much damage are we going to award to the plaintiffs because we've already found you responsible, and any of the arguments they might have used to mitigate that even are somewhat restricted now.
All right. Well, before I let you go, you also recently reported on a new, second in command over at CISA. Who do we have here?
Oh no, I actually haven't said his name aloud, so I've got to.
Oh, I see. I see. So, print guy on a podcast. The advantage is mine.
Okay. I'm going to do my best, and I apologize to the future CISA number 2. Gatu Makala.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
It, but I had not said it out loud because what's interesting is that this wasn't announced by CISA originally. It was announced by South Dakota. He's the former CIO and head of their sort of technology division there in the state government. So a lot of this kind of broke late Thursday that he was going to be the person, and I really just had email exchanges with anybody trying to figure out who he was and whether it was true. CISA has confirmed he is in fact going to be the new deputy director. It's something that's probably a month or more away because he doesn't leave his job in the state position until May 16th. But he's someone who does have a tech background. You and I have talked about some of these appointments. Some of these appointments from the Trump administration have not had much in the way of tech or cyber experience. He definitely does have that in multiple jobs. So he looks to be someone who isn't just hired just because, although I'm sure it has a connection to the fact that he worked for Kristi Noem, who is now the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security and had been the South Dakota governor. So looks like a candidate coming in who has some experience, but we might not get him for more like a month.
Okay. All right. Well, progress underway, I suppose. And as they say, time will tell.
Time will tell. We say it often, you and I, Dave.
We do. Because it's true.
Because it's true. That's why we do it.
That's right. All right. Tim Starks is senior reporter at CyberScoop. Tim, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cyber threats are evolving every second, and staying ahead is more than just a challenge, it's a necessity. That's why we're thrilled to partner with ThreatLocker, the cybersecurity solution trusted by businesses worldwide. ThreatLocker is a full suite of solutions designed to give you total control, stopping unauthorized applications, securing sensitive data, and ensuring your organization runs smoothly and securely. Visit threatlocker.com today to see how a default deny approach can keep your company safe and compliant. And finally, ever heard of vegetative electron microscopy? No? Good, because it's total nonsense. But thanks to a string of scanning errors, translation mix-up, and a little AI mischief, this completely made-up scientific term has wormed its way into real academic papers. It all started when 1950s research got poorly digitized, blending unrelated words into something that sounded impressive but meant absolutely nothing. Then, a tiny mistranslation in Farsi helped the error spread even further. Now, large AI models, including GPT-3 and GPT-4, faithfully regurgitate the fake term as if it's a cornerstone of modern science. Researchers are calling it a digital fossil, a mistake now permanently trapped in the AI training ecosystem, and fixing it is next to impossible. So, the next time someone drops vegetative electron microscopy in a paper, just know science, courtesy of AI, sometimes makes stuff up too. And that's the Cyberwire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We got a programming note. There's a special edition that explores the benefits of the cyber startup ecosystem with our partners at Microsoft. You can catch the details of it in our show notes and find it in your Cyberwire Daily podcast feed in your favorite podcast app. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. Don't forget to check out the Grumpy Old Geeks podcast, where I contribute to a regular segment on Jason and Brian's show every week. You can find Grumpy Old Geeks where all the fine podcasts are listed. N2K's senior producer is Alice Carruth. Our Cyberwire producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And now a word from our sponsor, SpyCloud. Identity is the new battleground, and attackers are exploiting stolen identities to infiltrate your organization. Traditional defenses can't keep up. SpyCloud's holistic identity threat protection helps security teams uncover and automatically remediate hidden exposures across your users, from breaches, malware, and phishing to neutralize identity-based threats like account takeover, fraud, and ransomware. Don't let invisible threats compromise your business. Get your free corporate darknet exposure report at spycloud.com/cyberwire and see what attackers already know. That's spycloud.com/cyberwire.